Okay, let's dive right into this. Have you ever looked at your bank account and felt like, I don't know, you're staring at a scoreboard where you are down by 50 points, and suddenly you realize your entire playbook is just completely broken? Trust me, I have absolutely been there. That feeling of financial defeat, it's incredibly heavy. But today, we're gonna unpack a singular, really powerful source text that completely rethinks how we understand our own wallets and actually turns that failure into an inspiring journey. Today's explainer is all about a core psychological concept, the pattern interrupt, and breaking the psychological loop that keeps you broke. It's a short, punchy premise, but the implications hidden inside this one idea, they are literally the ultimate game changer for reclaiming your financial freedom. So, why do we stay broke? Man, it's a heavy question, isn't it? If you've ever felt like you're just constantly hitting a financial brick wall, no matter how hard you try to get ahead, I want you to know something right out of the gate. This is not a moral failure, okay? It is a tactical one. We tend to carry so much shame around money, but the text we're exploring today points out that we stay in these frustrating financial states because of hidden triggers and warning signs that lead directly to emotional spending. It's honestly way less about a lack of willpower and much more about a glitch in our behavioral operating system. And that tactical glitch is what our source identifies as the psychological loop. Think of this loop like a sports team running the exact same failing play over and over again, purely out of muscle memory, and getting sacked by the defense every single time. A loop has no clear beginning, no clear end. It just feeds endlessly back into itself. Financial struggle is so often driven by this invisible, repetitive mental cycle, completely fueled by emotional spending traps. We make a choice, which reinforces a feeling, which then triggers the next identical choice. And because this loop happens completely in the background of our minds, it's entirely invisible to us while we're stuck running the wrong play. Now, the mechanics of this loop basically rely on automatic reactions, unthinking habits, and repetitive cycles. Think about your daily routine and the real-world habits that drain your wallet. Like maybe your hidden trigger is a super stressful morning meeting, right? And your automatic reaction, without even thinking, is to instantly go buy a $7 iced coffee on the way back to your desk just to soothe your nerves. You aren't actually making an active, calculated decision about your resources in that moment. You see something, you feel an urge, and boom, you execute an unthinking habit. It is a revolving door of poor financial decisions that literally require zero conscious brain power. The loop is efficient, it's fast, and it completely bypasses your rational mind. Which brings us to the absolute harshest, most direct phrase from our source text: keeps you broke. For many folks, and definitely including myself in the past, reading this is a real rock-bottom moment of realization. The source doesn't say this loop might cause issues or could lead to overspending. No, it says it actively keeps you broke. This requires a massive mindset shift. You have to realize that passive behavior actually equals active financial harm. As long as those unthinking habits and automatic reactions are driving the car, the destination is always going to be exactly the same. The loop is basically a mechanism of pure stagnation. So, you might be wondering, is this just a math problem? Traditionally, when we talk about money, we talk about income minus expenses, right? We talk about percentages and yields. But look, you cannot win the game just by staring at the scoreboard, which is the math. You have to actually change the plays you're running on the field, which is behavioral psychology. Breaking this cycle isn't about the numbers. You simply cannot outmath a psychological loop. Honestly, if you give a person operating inside this loop more money, well, the automatic reactions just scale right up to consume the new resources. The math is just a symptom. The actual disease is the behavior. We are caught in a psychological trap. It's this cycle of momentum that spins faster and faster, completely dictating our actions before we even realize we've made a choice. It's that absolute feeling of panic and total loss of control when you're caught in an emotional spending trap. Picture yourself at an online checkout, mindlessly clicking purchase, swiping a credit card, while your brain is entirely checked out on autopilot, racing toward a destination you don't even want to reach. But what if we just call a timeout? By definition, a pattern interrupt is a deliberate psychological action designed to break an automatic behavioral loop. In sports, when the momentum is entirely against you, the crowd is going absolutely wild for the other team, and you are just getting crushed, what does the coach do? The coach calls a timeout. That is a pattern interrupt. It is a highly conscious, entirely deliberate action whose sole purpose is to derail the train. Cultivating this as your very first practical daily habit is like throwing a massive wrench right into the gears of that invisible machine we've been talking about. To really understand the impact here, let's contrast these two states. On one side, you have the automatic loop, Fast, unthinking, smooth, frictionless momentum. It feels natural, kind of, because you've done it 1,000 times. On the other side, you have the pattern interrupt, a sudden halt. It is jarring and it creates intentional psychological friction. This sudden halt isn't just a neat idea, it's a strict protocol. Let's look at 3 practical emergency steps to stop impulse buying right in its tracks. Step 1, physically step away from the item or close the browser tab. Step 2, put the phone down and enforce a strict 24-hour waiting period. Step 3, open your bank app and look at your actual balance to face reality. That is what a sudden halt looks like. Let's actually build this into a 7-day action plan for beginners. You can use this daily checklist starting right now. Step 1, identify the urge. This is the trigger. It's the exact moment the loop tries to start spinning. Step 2, deploy the interrupt. Instead of making the automatic mistake, you insert your jarring action, like checking your bank app. This actually forces your brain to wake up from its autopilot state. And because you're finally awake, you arrive at step 3, make the new choice. The interrupt doesn't magically make the choice for you. It simply buys you the psychological clarity to make a conscious choice at all. So the absolutely crucial point here is that the pattern interrupt acts as a wedge in the revolving door. It creates a critical gap between the psychological urge and the financial action. Every single time you successfully insert that wedge and walk away from a bad purchase, it's a huge victory. To make this stick, though, you need to track these small wins over time. Keep a little note on your phone or use a journal to tally every time you successfully use an interrupt. Building a visual record of these small victories builds immense confidence on your journey to financial freedom. You are actively forcing the door to stop spinning. Shattering the cycle isn't just about saving a few extra bucks on coffee. This is the real turning point in our personal story, from failure to triumph. It is an inspiring journey toward actual financial freedom. We are actively stopping automatic behavior with our deliberate wedge. And through that, we're regaining our psychological control, finally taking the steering wheel back from our subconscious. Ultimately, this is the exact mechanism for breaking the broke loop and completely rewriting your financial future. Knowing that your financial struggles are more than likely tied to an invisible loop, and knowing that a deliberate, jarring action is the key to stopping it, what will your very first interrupt be today? I want to challenge you to start your 7-day action plan right now. Really think about the hidden triggers operating in your own life. Where is your momentum carrying you on autopilot? Identify that loop, prepare your emergency protocol, and get ready to pull the emergency brake. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to step off the hamster wheel today. You've got this.